I mean, you're trying to get energy, you're trying to get health. We got some guys dinged up here from this past weekend, so just trying to manage that as the week goes on to make sure if we can get them in the lineup, we will. And I think at the same time, you got to you understand your opponent, so dangerous Bemidji team.
I got some people on the call. If you want to raise your hand or whoever, Kevin, go ahead.
Hey Luke, Bemidji has been, I think, one of the hottest teams in the CCHA over the last month or so, maybe the hottest. Maybe just talk about some of the things in ways you've seen them grow from the first time you played them this season.
Well, to their credit, health would be the number one, I think, phase of their team. They've got their group maybe reassembled and back together. There's probably a time in their year where they felt they had to put a finger in the dam a little bit with injuries and World Junior and different things. So I think they've got a full lineup. Their strength, they get up and down the rink. On the attack, they drive a lot of chances off their line rush. They've scored a ton of goals off their line rush. That bleeds in their end zone offense. They've got a decor that's very mobile and very active that I think plays a transitional game to help them. When they got forwards, you give them a little time and space, they're pretty dangerous. They got a really good balanced group. That's why they're in first place.
Yeah, Randy.
Yeah, Luke, you've played Bemidji once this season already, but what have you learned about the rivalry between the two programs this year?
Well, I mean, the history's there, right? So I think that leaves something to be said. There's been big games amongst one another played. The rivalry, not only for our component here as far as hockey, there's other sports on campus that play one another, but you go all the way back to Division II days. It was green versus purple back then too. So there's no love lost, and at the same time, you put in the mix, I think, of the importance of the series. That should heighten everything up.
Yeah. Coach, it's Tim Rapley. Do you hear me? Hi guys, am I muted or am I good to go?
We can hear Tim.
Okay, Coach, we expect probably number 21 and number 6 on your team to be on their whiteboard. Who are some of the candidates for secondary scoring you might expect from the boys in purple this weekend?
Yeah, it's. I think when the Grohl and Isley and Carabas line have shown some flashes there. We had a good streak there of Bolson getting on the board. I think there'll probably be some guys mixed around a little bit just out of injury that way, but we're going to count on that, and I think our back end's going to have to supply some offense, whether that's just delivering pucks and letting them rattle around a little bit and try to get some offense that way. But we've got to find ways to on the road they get last change, so they're definitely going to check our best, which is going to be an interesting part of the series.
Kevin?
Not that you guys need any motivation, but the program has won 6 of these in a row, and because of that, probably nobody else is going to really be cheering for you. Can that maybe be a little bit of an extra motivator this weekend?
Yeah, I mean we're going up against the first place team, so for us, we've got a job to go about. I guess the ghost of the past 6 is alive and well with a lot of folks. I know it's meaningful. I know all of those pieces. I also know that there's a time of year where that's a bonus. I think it's like, okay, now you're gonna go. We got to figure out a way to beat the first place team, and you're gonna have to do it to the total of 5 points. But you got to take care of Friday to even be in that conversation for Saturday. So, yeah, I think there's a motivator there maybe, but we got to go beat the first place team.
Go ahead, Randy.
Yeah, Luke, in your first year at Mankato, has anything surprised you here about the program, about the conference, just basically overall?
No, Randy, I would tell the whole world the CCHA, the competitive, the combativeness and the parity I think the competitiveness of team to team is very, very high. The style of play, there's a lot of battle, compete involved with it. And for all the knocks of people, there's not enough plays being made. There's plenty of plays being made. Actually, it's probably more pro-like in a lot of ways than a lot of other conferences, for the fact of there's not a lot of time and space on either side of the puck. So that part's been great. My involvement here at Minnesota State's been outstanding. I think it just, to the comment earlier, the coaches in our league are very driven, and a lot of have tenure at their programs, which says a lot about their loyalty to where they're at. So I think there's a ton of pride that goes through the league all the way up and down.
Tim.
Coach, after a Friday night loss to St. Thomas in your own building earlier, your closing quotes were, "Don't bet against us." With that in mind, how confident are you going into this weekend?
Well, I'm way more confident than everyone that picked a 6 in the beginning or whatever it was. So I love our guys. I love our crew. I think they've got each other's backs. They've got a little warrior mentality. I do feel they've got an underdog attitude. At some point you always hope that your team takes a little bit of your personality as a coach, and they apply that to themselves. I'm fortunate Hasty had a great attitude about competitiveness. I think our guys have had a good blend of what that means. And as far as confidence, we want to play at this time of year. We want to play best hockey, and I think that bleeds throughout our room. And if we can get the right bodies on the ice this weekend, then our confidence just keeps going up.